When you become a parent, suddenly all of your life's priorities change. And for those of us with the entrepreneur bug, that is often the moment that you finally take action and start your online business so that you can quit your job, work from home, and give your little ones the love and attention they deserve, and so you can be the parent that you want to be. That was the case for me and my wife when our kids came, and that was also the case for today's guest, Erica Gregory. Once Erica went on maternity leave from her corporate job, she made the decision to never go back. And within just 3 months, she was able to replace her full-time income with her online business. And now she brings in 6 figures a year while working just 15 hours a week.
Me quitting my job was not smart, and yet it was the best thing I've ever done. But I was able to replace my 9-to-5 income within 3 months because that was the strategy that I was using. I built a 6-figure business during naptime because that was when there was a long stretch of time there where I was working 2, maybe 3 hours a day. And I was able to have consistent 5-figure months because I was doing it intentionally so that I could have a life outside of business.
If you want to build a legitimate, profitable online business without shiny objects, without the hypey gimmicks, and without the stress and overwhelm, if you want to make more money without having to be present online all day, every day, pumping out content that nobody sees and hustling DMs to generate leads and sales, then this is the place for you. Welcome to the Digital Trailblazer podcast, your online business university, where you'll learn how ordinary people start from ground zero with no influence, no email list or audience to sell to, and no business or marketing experience, and go from working 9-to-5 jobs to building successful 6- and 7-figure online businesses and all the steps in between. Learn the strategies that worked and what didn't. Learn the mistakes that they made and how to avoid them, and then learn their plans for scaling their businesses and taking things to the next level. All so that you can build your business faster and easier and make more money without sacrificing the things that are important to you in your life. I'm your host, Leah Ray Getz, and with me is my husband, Todd. Now, let's get to it with today's guest. Well, thank you so much for being here with us, Erica. This is a great opportunity. I'm really excited to talk with you. I think you've got some good insights for our audience. So thanks so much for being here.
Of course. I'm excited to chat.
Yay, awesome. So tell our audience a little bit about yourself and what you do. What's your expertise?
Sure. Well, I'm Erica Gregory. I am a business coach and consultant, primarily for female entrepreneurs. I started out as a digital marketer, though. So 5 years ago, I had my daughter on the morning after Thanksgiving. She's my second kid. And before that, I was in corporate marketing, creating a lot of content, doing social media, things like that. And I knew during my pregnancy, I did not want to go back to work, but I didn't exactly know how that was all going to come to fruition. Anyway, during my maternity leave, I started to play with the idea of doing, my own thing. And I knew I had a skill set because I was in marketing for, 7-8 years before that. And I started reaching out to my network of people and just saying, is this something that you feel like you could use for me? Is this something, what are you thinking? And it just grew a life of its own. I quit my job and had 0 clients lined up. It was bold. It was bold. I tell people, on paper, it was the most financially irresponsible thing I've ever done. My husband was still only working part-time at the time.
Oh my.
We just had a baby. We had a toddler. We just had bought a house the year before. I carried the health insurance.
Oh my goodness.
Me quitting my job was not smart, and yet it was the best thing I've ever done. So here we are, 5 years later. I have a 6-figure business, and my kids are older now, which makes things harder and easier at the same time. But yeah, that's just kind of my journey in a nutshell.
I love that. So you started doing social media marketing type stuff as an agency, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what are you doing today?
So it's a little bit of both. It's a hybrid of the still done for you services, but also more strategy, bigger picture things for businesses. But I also coach. So I do a lot of one-on-one coaching with female entrepreneurs. It's like a hybrid business. And I found that with my schedule with my kind of energy levels. I need a little bit of that extrovert, coaching, like really getting into it. And then also that kind of introverted behind the computer, kind of work too. So it's a really good balance for me. I work completely by myself. So I do my own marketing and everything for both sides of the business. But I really enjoy it that way.
I love that. So what are some of the strategies that you use to bring in clients?
There's a big mix of strategies I like to use, and it really depends on the season of business I'm in. If I'm in a hard sales push, I am using everything, right? I'm doing direct contact reach outs, emailing people, networking, going into in-person events in my town and city. And then more on the digital side, I'm constantly posting my social media. I do a lot of video content over there. I'll do a lot of live trainings in my Facebook group, just free live trainings. People can come and get into my energy, and we'll talk about marketing strategies or business stuff or just even mindset work. I have a great email list that is super engaged. Some of the basics in terms of that, but I will say that it's been a learning lesson over time. And I think my biggest piece of advice for people is that there is no wrong strategy. It's just a matter of what works for you when it works, and continuing to try new things and feeling out new strategies is actually one of the better, more creative parts of being an entrepreneur. I think some people can get overwhelmed by that. But for me, let's switch that mindset and be you get to own this. You get to try whatever you want every single day. If it doesn't work, great, pivot. Let's try something new. But that's kind of how I've viewed my own marketing strategy. I was what do I want to try today? Okay, I want to start a YouTube channel. Let's see how many people I can reach there. Let's do a free training. Let's do a pre-recorded webinar. I've tried a lot of different things, and I feel now 5 years in, I'm kind of in that sweet spot of content marketing, getting visible, getting in front of other people's audiences is a huge strategy. But yeah, a little bit of everything.
And here's the thing is that I think that a lot of new entrepreneurs, and for us, especially when we were getting started in our business, that whole aspect of it was actually scary. Because, when you're working a job and you've got a 9 to 5, it's very structured, and you go in and you have somebody else telling you what to do. And now when you're starting on your own as an entrepreneur, you don't have that, right? And you've got to try to create your own structure, but you don't necessarily know how to do that. So do you have a strategy to help people get over that? Or what would you say to people who have those, have that apprehension?
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting point, because you're right, especially coming from a corporate world. It's kind of the same thing day in, day out. You have a boss or a manager kind of telling you this is what I need to get done and when it needs to get done. When you go into entrepreneurship, you're suddenly overwhelmed with decisions. You're overwhelmed with opportunity. You're overwhelmed with time. And to hold yourself accountable, especially when you're by yourself, can be really a challenge. So I tell people you have to find the thing that will move the needle the fastest. In terms of what to do, find something that will get you a sale quickly and easily. The things that you're wasting, if you're wasting your time building a website and you're just so overwhelmed with the tech of it, walk away. It's not important right now. Go find somebody you can talk to. I found that those one-on-one conversations have always converted so much higher than me just posting content or me emailing or me, doing anything. Now, there's some things that have to get done, right? But if you're finding yourself spending all of your time and none of that is actually sales oriented, then you need to reassess what's important. The other part of this is, as a coach, is I think that this is one thing that people come to me and say, I'm just overwhelmed. And the pressure of overwhelm can stop people in their tracks. It can be debilitating. So for me, as a coach, I really love to work with people and shifting their mindset on it. Well, you wanted freedom, you wanted flexibility, you wanted autonomy. That's what entrepreneurship is. That's what you have right now. This is opportunity for you. Instead of feeling stressed and overwhelmed and this is bad and scary, well, let's look at the bright side of it. Let's look at the good, the fun, and really get to play with that. So I love getting in there with new entrepreneurs who are feeling that overwhelm and just reassessing, repositioning where they're focused and taking the load off and instead like infusing some fun and creativity in it.
Yeah, I really love that point about just getting out there and having those conversations, because I think, new entrepreneurs, they see all these ads and all these, all the marketing from the gurus out there saying, oh yeah, fully automated, never have to do a sales call, never have to do a webinar, webinars are dead, email marketing is dead, blah, blah, blah. And they've got all these, gimmicks that they're trying to market to you. And it's so easy for someone who's brand new to get sucked into, oh, I need to automate right away, or I need to do a webinar right away, or I need to do all this fancy, marketing stuff. And really that's the stuff that it requires, it has the steepest learning curve. It requires the most marketing skill, and it's not easy at all. But you're trying to do this advanced marketing stuff that a 7 or 8 figure business is doing, when really you could be making sales right now just by picking up the phone, right? Or just by having a conversation on Facebook.
Yep. I tell people all the time, I am a digital marketing expert. And for the first year of my business, I made no money through my website, through my social media, none of it. It was all from networking, all from getting my butt out there and talking to people, literally. And I also love to tell people this too. My daughter never took a bottle. I was breastfeeding her for that first year, exclusively breastfeeding her for the first year of my business. She would go to networking events with me, or my poor husband, I would call him. I'd be like, I have a networking event. Please come. He'd sit in the car with the baby. Well, I ran in for half an hour, networked my butt off, got some business cards, and came back so he could go back doing what he was doing. I mean, I was all in, but I was able to replace my 9-to-5 income within 3 months because that was the strategy that I was using. Now, I wasn't necessarily neglecting the digital side of things. I was building community. I was creating content over time, but that didn't pay off for a good year. And so if you have a year, great. But if you're wanting to make sales now, which even if you don't need the money, I think just for motivation and like results, you should be wanting that. You need to be able to get outside your comfort zone and be an advocate for your business.
Absolutely. I love that. And it's so simple, but so often overlooked, where they want the shiny object versus let's just talk to people. Let's just have a conversation. So what do you find that is working really well for you and your business right now, strategy-wise? Like, what's your best strategy right now for bringing in new clients?
Bringing in new clients is probably my email list, and it's taken a long time to get here. But somewhere in the last probably 2-3 years, I've started to use my social media as more of a lead generator, and using my email list as the place I make sales and convert people. It's been a very big learning process because I just want to go on social media and be like, click my link, right? But it's one of those things where I don't have the visibility that some of these other people do. And to get sucked into that belief where, that's how it made sales. I'm very, very aware that that's not how it's going to be for me right now in my business. So it's a funnel, I'm getting out there, I'm putting things out on social media, a lot of video content to be more specific, video showing my face. People know me, my face, they know this is Erica. I'm very open and vulnerable and transparent about all of the things going on in my business because I think that's important. And that has attracted people who have then opted in for my email and have converted over there. So just that basic funnel. There's no automation happening. It's just like a simple opt-in. And now you're on my email list. And it's really been great.
That's awesome. I love that. So simplicity is a theme that I'm definitely feeling here.
Well, I'm by myself. Like, I don't have a team. And that's the other thing I like to be transparent about. It's me, and I have 2 kids that I run around all day. So I have to keep things simple. I would love to build out these funnels and things like that. But right now I'm working about 15 hours a week because that's what my family needs from me. And that's what my time allows. And so I'm going back to that strategy that I tell my clients to use. Find the things that move the needle the most, the fastest, and do those. Everything else I can sacrifice right now in this season of my business because it's working.
And the thing about your email list, and this is another one, you see ads all the time. Email marketing is dead. Email is dead. And it's always somebody's trying to sell you some other gimmick, right? But email marketing is one of those fundamental things that you need to be doing in your business because that is what nurtures your audience. And, with us in our business, like when we first got started, we would generate a lead and we were wondering, well, okay, we generated a lead. Why didn't they buy?
Right.
And it's like everybody expects that sale to happen like right away. Like, they didn't buy right away. They must not be interested. And so they move on and they try to find the next person who wants to buy right now. And it's like you can never find them. But the longer that we do this, and you've been in business for several years now too, but the longer that we've been in business, what we realize is that those leads that they finally book the call and they come, they show up to the sales call and they have their credit card in hand. They've already made a decision. They're going to join. Right. It's the people that have been on our email list for at least a month or two, sometimes as much as a year or two.
Yep.
Right. And it's because they've been following us for that amount of time. And we've been emailing them over and over and over. And we've been nurturing that relationship.
And I love what you added to about live or doing video. And we've seen that in our business extensively. Live video in particular, especially like on Facebook and social media platforms, it's so powerful. It's like having that one-on-one conversation, but with a group of people. And
exactly.
So it's so much more leveraged, and live video is the fastest way online to build that know, like, and trust factor. Your personality, everything, it just all shines through, and it's so powerful.
Yeah. And I think I come from a background in video because when I was doing corporate marketing, I was actually producing video. And so I have a lot of insight on why it's powerful. But I think the one thing in terms of what holds people back, I hear over and over and over, I can't go on video. I'm overweight, or I don't like the way I look, or I don't have time to do my hair and makeup. I've gone on live video like looking a hot mess. I think that actually makes me more human, makes me more relatable in a way. You don't always have to look like you're ready for the big time, but I think we are our own biggest critics in terms of video. If you are putting out great content and you are showing up and you have that energy, I guarantee you nobody cares what background you have, what your eye makeup looks like, what your hair looks like. There's effort, and then there's not, whatever. But I remember taking a class or a webinar with someone, and it was a live thing. And she was this probably during COVID because she was doing the digital nomad thing, and she had car trouble or something. And she did this live from the front seat of her Jeep. And literally, she just acknowledged, this is it. This is what's going on in my life. I'm in my car right now, but I'm here. I'm going to show up. And she delivered. She delivered the energy and what she had to say. It was so powerful. I could have cared less if she was, in her bathtub. I don't know. It was not important. So I totally agree. Live video, there are so many places and so many opportunity for you to utilize that tool. Get over the self-judgment and show up, because you're right. There's no quicker way to build trust with somebody than to show up as you.
Yeah. And if you pay attention, I think almost all of the social media platforms now have live streaming. Totally. I wonder why that is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
clearly something's going on there. It's very important.
Exactly.
Awesome. So what are some your biggest wins or successes that you've had for your clients?
I love talking about my clients because a lot of them are moms, new moms, or pregnant while they work with me because they want to essentially quit their job and do whatever their business is full time. I've had artists, fine artists work with me and have over 6-figure years, by coaching other artists and selling their artwork. I've had people quit their corporate jobs because they've worked with me and they've implemented strategies and they've started making money so quickly that they didn't need the second income anymore. Sometimes it's as simple as they've worked with me for 6 to 8 months and it's just been getting over all of these limiting beliefs. And finally in that 6th, 7th month, they sign their first client, right? That is the biggest thing for some people. I just recently walked one of my clients through her very first launch of her first 6-month live program. And it was so successful in so many ways. Financially, it was successful, but it was also successful in just the things she learned about herself and the things that she was able to overcome. I could go on and on, but it's really, for me, it's more than just the financial wins. It's the belief these women see in themselves, the life they're able to build for themselves and their families, the freedom, the ability to get out of jobs that are sucking their soul, not to be dramatic, but I've been there. So yeah, people literally going from, CPAs or very analytical jobs to starting jewelry making businesses, right? Going from this one identity into this entirely different one. It's so fun to see. It's so fun to be part of. I could do this for free.
I love that. And that's it, is the growth that we've all gone through on our own journeys, the growth that you see in clients just as a human, and the differences and changes that it's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild.
I have to tell this story. I'm working with a woman right now. We started working together probably early summer, so maybe June. It's November now. She came to me and she was making so much money. I think she was having between 12 to 15K months. But it was all coming from random sources and a little bit from her own business. And she was having a really hard time managing the money. She came to me and she was like, I think I need to take out a personal loan because I have no cash flow. And this was the way that she had solved that problem before. I just talked to her this week and she has paid down, I think 10 or 15% of her debt since starting to work with me. She has not taken out that extra personal loan. She actually has reduced her credit card limit so that she doesn't go back there to the debt cycle. And on top of that, she has signed, I believe, 3 clients in her own business, been able to walk away from one of the side jobs that she had. And it's been 5-6 months. It's just when you're ready to commit yourself to coaching, to, a change and up level of who you are, it can happen so fast.
Yeah.
And it's so fun to watch.
It's beautiful. I love that. And I think that's a really good example of people having success, but in reality, they're stretching themselves so thin.
Yeah.
And it's just if you just focus all of that energy that's going, you're losing so much of it because it's so spread out, focus it on 1, maybe 2. And that is where your sanity comes back.
Sure.
You've got systems in place, things are flowing, and you can have a life and you're not just killing yourself day in and day out.
Oh, exactly. I think that's what I've always built my business on. I always tell people I built a 6-figure business during nap time because that was when I had. There was a long stretch of time there where I was working 2, maybe 3 hours a day. And I was able to have consistent 5-figure months because I was doing it intentionally so that I could have a life outside of business.
This episode is sponsored by ConvertPoint.io. If you're an online business owner and you're looking for a simple, low-cost, all-in-one platform to simplify, systematize, and automate your business, then look no further. ConvertPoint has everything you need to build a successful online business. Funnels, websites, email autoresponders, text message marketing, invoices, sales pages, calendars, forms and surveys, social media management, membership sites and courses, automated workflows, and so much more. Now, not only that, but you also get access to free marketing courses. So you will learn how to actually use these tools to generate leads and make sales. You'll get courses on things like funnel building, on lead generation, copywriting, content creation, paid ads, and more. Plus, you'll get weekly live support directly from us so that you can ask questions and get personalized help to build your business. We'll help you to build your funnels, write your emails, create your ads. Whatever questions you have about building your business, we'll be there to give you the answers you need live every single week. And the best part is that it all comes at one super affordable price. So head over to convertpoint.io to check it out. That's convertpoint.io to start your risk-free trial today. I think that's beautiful because there is such a hustle culture these days, and being able to bring that, show that there can be balance, bring that, especially for moms and families that are looking get in this. That's the reason they started. So they started for this time freedom myth, right? And then, then it's they made it, but they're working 80 hours a week, and their stress is they're not going to pay their bills this month, right?
Right.
So being able to create that is beautiful. I think that's awesome.
Yes,
I love that.
That's my main goal. Work less, make more. The 40-hour work week is a lie. It doesn't need to be that. So anything that is corporate, I'm allergic to. So we work less than 40 hours over here.
That's good. I love it. So what's next for you? What's next on your plate, or growth, or what's your next phase?
Yeah, I think I play with the idea of hiring a team. I think that would be more on the marketing side because I enjoy the coaching so much, but I would love to have a team that's kind of taking on my clients in terms of the done for you services in the marketing world and things like that. I am very content in how I work, the way I work, and the load of work that I have right now. But next year, both of my kids, my daughter will be in kindergarten, so they'll both be at school full time, and my wheels are already turning about how I can fill that time with creative projects that fill me up. And, I've always loved producing video. So I've played with this idea of doing some kind of documentary series or something like that. I don't know. We'll see what it turns into. But yeah, I think in terms of what's next is I just love meeting new people in this space. I love hearing about entrepreneurs who are just in their beginning part of their journey, because for me, I have so much nostalgia and so many fun memories from my, first year of business. I think I'll be doing this in terms of coaching. I think I'll be doing it for a long time.
That's one of the things that I think a lot of people don't understand is that if you try to scale too fast, you do lose that time freedom, right? And it takes a lot of hustle if you want to scale fast. And sometimes it's nice just to be able, if you're in a comfortable spot, you're making 10, 20, 30,000 a month, and you're comfortable there. Well, it's not a bad thing to just stay there while your kids are young, enjoy the time, because that's hustling out a 6-figure month as a solopreneur. That's not easy to do.
Yeah.
And if you've got young kids at home, it's going to take time away. So just having that time freedom and the freedom to choose. And the thing is that having your business and being able to do that, that's stability. A lot of people think that having a 9-to-5 is stable. It's not stable. I remember that. And I remember, and this was in 2008 with the housing market crash and all that. And when we were working our jobs, we were both just really scared that we were going to lose our jobs and we had nowhere else to go. That is not stability. That is not security. But now with our business, we don't have to worry about that. We know that we have the skills that we can move anywhere in the country. It doesn't matter. We can always run, as long as there's internet in the world and the whole world hasn't crashed, right? And the world hasn't ended. We've got a way to make money, right?
Sure.
And that's that skill set of being able to build your own business, because you don't lose that skill set. Nobody can take that from you. People can take your job. They cannot take your skill set. And if you've built that skill set to that you can get a business up and running and make sales and you know how to run that business, well, that's real security, right? In addition to the freedom.
I agree. I think that's such an important thing to shift in the collective mindset, is that we've been told that stability is the 9-to-5 job. And it's funny, I come from a family of entrepreneurs, and even they pushed me into the 9-to-5 world because that was what was successful, right? But you're right. I mean, we saw it with COVID. I mean, the exact department that I worked in, they got laid off for, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 months. Like, that's terrifying to think about. And here I was completely fine. I think it's so true, that stability, that empowerment. Like, if I needed to make an extra $1,000, I could go out and do that today. Because I have that skill set and I have that belief in myself, which is something else. But yeah, it's a lie that we're being sold, that like there's stability elsewhere, where it's like, in reality, I'm creating my life. I get to choose what I do with it, and I get to choose how I spend my time. And just to touch on what you said about, the growth of a business, I was very much, and this wasn't very long ago, I was very much sucked into this narrative of, if you're not growing, you're dying, right? So if you're not making, you made $10,000 this month, if you're not making 15 next month, then no one's going to want to work with you. There was this message, I feel like, in the coaching world that I got really bought into. And I was making, I've had consistent 5-figure months for a long, 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 long time. But for some reason, this message made me feel like I wasn't doing enough. I wasn't doing enough, and it wasn't enough, and I wasn't being good enough. And because I wasn't growing, I wasn't going to attract the right people, and blah, 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 blah. That put so much unnecessary pressure on me that I actually started making less money, because I was so invested in the money of it, instead of realizing I quit my job so that I could be with my kids, right? Like, I quit my job for this, to help other women build businesses so they could have freedom and flexibility. And I wasn't embodying that, right? I was really just worried about grow. So I'm really glad that I've done the work I've had to do in the last couple months to get to this place where contentment and comfort and just enjoyment of what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, it's so nice to feel that again, and not feel this constant pressure of, oh my God, I need to make more money by some ambiguous date. It's such a relief.
Yeah, and keeping your priorities straight too. I mean, that's what I love about that, is just you're able to keep your priorities straight. There's a well-known marketing guru out there that I was reading one of his posts, and someone had made a comment in there, and he was criticizing. And it's stupid to criticize people who are just kind of starting out, but he was definitely punching down at this person for some reason. And he had made some comment like, "Do you even 7 figures, bro?" And it was like,
who cares?
Dude, okay, so and this guy, he just had a kid. And then his wife had just divorced him. And I'm like, your life sucks right now. I don't care how much money you're making.
Right.
You just lost your wife and your kid.
Mm-hmm.
You're not keeping your priorities straight. If as long as you're paying the bills and you're doing well and you've built your own business and you're getting your priorities straight, you shouldn't be criticizing people.
I agree. And I think there's also this weird pedestal we put people on where, they're making more money, so they're better than me. But at the end of the day, I think you're right. If you're happy and you're healthy and you're paying your bills and you're doing the thing that you love, I win. I win. Right?
Yes.
No, I love that. I love that. Awesome. So what would be the best way for people to connect with you?
Yeah, I'm most active on Instagram. It's at Erica's with a C, at Erica J. Gregory. You can come follow me over there. I would love to, shoot me a DM if you hear this interview, and just let me know what you think. I'd love for that to happen, and we can connect over there. I also have my website for my coaching is just my name, ericagregory.com. You can find a bunch of resources. You can find out how to work with me or just even schedule a free call. We can connect there. But yeah, and then if you're interested in the marketing side, that website is my initials, businessmarketing.com. So that's all the places I am.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. I think this was some massive insights and just big takeaways for people. So thank you so much. We really appreciate you. And
thank you. Thank you for having me. This was great.
You're welcome. You've been listening to the Digital Trailblazer podcast. For show notes and information about today's guest, head to digitaltrailblazer.com. Now, if you love this episode, if you got some value, make sure you leave us a review and subscribe. And be sure to share this episode with anyone you know who could use help to build their business. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.